White Memorial Conservation is the largest wildlife refuge in Connecticut. It contains more than 35 miles of trails. On average, each acre of forest land contains 824 trees that are approximately 80 years old. Early morning in the summer, Fran Zigma meets with other nature lovers within this forest to observe a variety of wildlife here at the sanctuary.
Lose that interest.
It's something I always wanted to do, and I just happened on it, browsing the Connecticut events, and I said, I'm going. I have to drive in the middle of the night. Oh,
So we went to go follow you guys.
I said, I'm doing it. This is my chance. And I'm so pleased. Yeah, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
If you guys remember, we came out here around 4 o'clock, 4:30, and it was like quiet. There was nothing going on. So now here you can hear it. There's not an awful lot of bird song right here, but there's things like red-eyed vireo is calling out this way. Goldfinch is going to fly over, a couple crows. Of course, Veronica is not making any noise over here.
Veronica's been coming to White Memorial Conservation for over 16 years. According to wildlife conservationist Jerry Griswold, Veronica appears to have been trained by humans before she began visiting White Memorial because she is comfortable with staff and volunteers. She often disappears for weeks, but primarily returns to White Memorial. As a red-tailed hawk, Veronica eats rodents, rabbits, chipmunks, and anything that is small. A little over 22% of the property is dominated by wetlands, which is an excellent breeding ground for migratory birds.
So I'm looking at the radar because during migration you can actually see bird migration happening on radar. And a lot of times what happens is that a front comes through in thunderstorms, and right behind it is this big push of birds. We were at Bradley Airport looking for something that we had staked out. And obviously at Bradley Airport, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's bright, jets and a lot of activity. There were Swainson's thrushes flying over in droves. I mean, we were hearing them. Remember we were hearing them like, I don't know, 20, 50, 100, 150 of them going over. And so at one point I closed my eyes because it's spring peepers. So I closed my eyes and I'm hearing all this, what I thought were spring peepers. And then a green heron flew over, croaked, and went, ow, as it went over. And I'm like, I am in a swamp. And then I open up my eyes and there I'm at Bradley Airport with all this lights and jets going on. And I'm like, that was just incredible, just to have that happen. But cuckoos are one bird that the best time to get them is at migration, overnight, because they make very distinctive calls when they fly over. It's very difficult to find them during the day. It's a goldfinch flying over right here.
What can you tell from?
They sound like a potato chip.
Oh, you heard it? Oh.
And if you see them fly, they actually kind of have that undulating flight.
That was it. Yeah, that's it.
They sound like a potato chip?
But the word potato chip. One bird. That's one. Sometimes they work really fast. We haven't heard one yet, but. So it's actually kind of funny when I get out and play and do bird counts or what. I'm out there doing all these different things, and I throw in a barred owl here and there, and next thing you know, you get all these birds starting to come in, and it makes it a lot easier to count.
The White Memorial Conservation Center is not only a home to a variety of native birds, but also other species of woodland animals, such as bats, deer, beavers, reptiles, and amphibians. The highly experienced staff at the park is also dedicated to animal rehabilitation and recovery.
So this is an infant North American porcupine, and they're called porcupets. And this is the second largest, though she doesn't look it, second largest rodent species in the United States after the beaver. And porcupines are indigenous to the upper tier of Connecticut, and that's as far south as they go. They're relegated mostly into the north and up into Canada. So we don't even see them here very often in Litchfield. And this little one was found wandering around a road in Goshen 2 weeks ago, and nobody could find her mother, and so she ended up with me. And I'm a wildlife rehabilitator that specializes primarily in bats, but I also work with porcupines. So hopefully we'll have a nice little relationship together, and of course the objective would be to release her back into the wild, and that remains to be seen at this age whether we're going to be able to do that or not. So she's very feisty. She looks docile now, but she isn't. She's fully quilled. When they're born, they have quills that are soft, which is probably a very nice birth for their mother, but within 3 hours the quills completely harden and the animal's completely capable of taking care of itself. But bottom line, she's going to be bottle fed at least once a day for four months. So she's fully quilled. She looks furry, and she is furry, but underneath all those quills is a world of danger. And there are only two places on a porcupine's body where there are no quills: their nose and their bellies. So, and they're very good climbers. You can see by the claws on her front feet and her back feet. One of their great ways of avoiding predators is just to rush up a tree. And they don't have to move too fast because they have 30,000 of their BFFs all over their body. So porcupines don't naturally move really quickly, but when they see a threat, they will go up a tree. So it's important that this species of porcupine is a really good climber.
What do they eat?
They're vegetarians. They're herbivores. Yep, so they eat roots and berries and nuts, and underneath the bark of trees is a layer of called cambium, which beavers also like, and that's where the problems lie with porcupines. In places where there are numerous porcupines, they'll actually... people don't like them very much because they can really kill trees. And unlike beavers that cut trees down, porks just sort of go and chew and destroy and then move along. They're a very salt-driven animal as well, so they'll like your shoes if you've been hiking all day and you're sweaty and you leave your shoes outside your tent. One of these guys could easily come and just eat your shoes, or an axe handle if you've been chopping wood, so they're looking for the sweat. They love water lilies, actually, and lily pads, because apparently there's a high salt content in them, something that they like. So their quills make them very buoyant, so they're actually very good swimmers as well. What's she doing? Huh? Now she's getting restless. So I'm going to put her back in her crate. I can feel myself getting full of quills right now.
What?
Yeah. That's part of somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to take care of them.